Shalom. This is Gabrielle with Mother's Herbal Instincts or Herbally Defined. And I'm going to try to do this video as quickly as possible. You cannot see me right now because I have it on no video. I had to get myself situated and put my papers in order. Also, if the feed cuts out, something's going on with Google Hangouts, so I really don't know why it's doing that. But just in case it does it, I'm also going live from my Facebook page. So if you're unable to get me back on the YouTube, you can go to my Facebook page, which is Mother's Herbal Instincts, facebook.com, or if you're on Facebook, you can just type in Herbally Defined and it'll take you directly to my Facebook page as well. So right now I'm trying to my Facebook and my YouTube. Okay, there it goes. So we're back. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with my YouTube channel, but it keeps cutting in and out. I actually had it up and ready to go at 5:15, but I've been dealing with my camera keep going in and out. I don't know if this is a technical issue on their end or my end, but this is the first time that I've actually had to deal with something like this. So hopefully it doesn't cut off anymore and I'm able to get this information out for you guys. So if you look at or paid attention to the title of this video, this is going to be about exclusively breastfeeding past 6 months of age for the baby. For those of you who don't understand what exclusively breastfeeding is when you are nursing your child from your breast with no introductions of any type of solid foods. That would include cereals, like the little box cereals mixed in with the breast milk, just table food or baby jar food. All of those are included on the solid foods. And so exclusive breastfeeding is just breast milk, nothing added, just breast milk. And so that's what this video is about. I actually had a sister who was inquiring about what I do with my children and how I do it, and if there's something wrong with actually nursing your baby exclusively without adding or introducing any type of foods. Geared towards answering, and I hope it is encouraging and inspiring for you guys. And if possibly this is something that you want to do, hopefully that this would be beneficial to you. There's so much information that I can give you on this topic that I might have to do another video. I'm not sure if I'll do the video here on YouTube or if I will do it on our Patreon account, because I will be able to put a lot more information on there, very detailed, with links and references on there as well. So I will be doing another video because this is very extensive, and it's with breast milk, you're learning something new every single day. I'm just amazed at how the Most High, our Creator, has created our bodies to do this thing that it does with creating breast milk. So, I've got 8 pages of notes. And like I said, I'm going to try to get through this as fast as possible. I wanted to make this video before the sun went down so that you guys would have it handy. Because I'm going to be out of commission for maybe a week or 2. So, all right. I exclusively breastfeed for a year. And this is because most of the time, generally, babies aren't really hungry. When they start, looks like they're chewing on their fingers or picking up everything and it's going in their mouth. It's not because they're trying to eat anything. It's more of them trying to learn the environment around them, learn how to use their fingers, learn how to see if they're learning touch and taste, learning the textures of different items. So it's not that they are actually hungry. It's they're exploring and they're learning their environment. A lot of people will say, especially I've dealt with this a lot, is people would say, hey, get that baby something to eat. That baby's hungry. You look at him, he's rooting. He wants food. It's time to feed him. How old is he? He's past 6 months, right? And those are common statements that you'll hear from your parents, from people who have children, from people who probably watch movies and that's just what they do, or from people who have been directed by their doctors. At 6 months, now you can start giving them food because their bodies are ready for it. But in all actuality, if you actually study the baby's body and you study our bodies, that's not what it's meaning. Okay. We may want to start feeding them more food because you may be tired of nursing them, or you feel as though your milk is inadequate. But all of those type of notions, all of those type of ideas, opinions come from misunderstandings. And so hopefully what I go over in this video are just a lot of tips I have jotted down from research and from just personal experience with my children, is here to hopefully dispel all of the myths and the opinions. A lot of our foremothers before were, taught to start giving the baby food as early as 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and even at 6 months. And that was just because that was something that they were told, not that it was actually scientifically proven that that's what is needed to be done for the baby. But that's just what was passed down. So a lot of our peers, or maybe even your husband may say the same thing. It's time to feed the baby. But this video is to give information for both mother and father so that they can feel comfortable and strengthened in knowing that if they do decide to not feed their child, that they know the reasons why, and they can successfully communicate those reasons to your husband, or successfully communicate those reasons to your wife. So like I just said, those are mostly opinions just because it's misunderstanding. We never really had anybody tell us, well, why should I start feeding my baby at 6 months? Or why should I not start feeding my baby at 6 months? And so I'm going to tell you why you should not. But if you decide to, that is still upon you. I do recommend you nursing your baby as long as 3 to 4 years old, if you can. I'll give you the reasons why on that too. So that's probably another video. But another tip is if you feed them too soon, they'll start developing allergies. This is where allergies come into play. This is where you have a lot of children at a young age that start developing autoimmune disorders, autoimmune diseases, autoimmune illnesses. I keep looking off the camera because my notebook is over here in my notes. So I grabbed one of my notebooks. And so now I'm looking down. This is why I'm looking down, because I'm looking at my notes. You'll see a lot of children in this generation that have a lot of chronic illnesses or degenerative illnesses. Obesity is another reason why. I said that backwards. Obesity is a cause from feeding your child foods or introducing your child into solid foods too soon. And digestive upsets. The reason a lot of children have colic is because if they've been getting food before 6 months, this is where they start experiencing this colic. That's what they call it, colic issue, where it's gas or intestinal upset. A lot of it comes from giving your baby food too soon and giving them the wrong foods. I'll talk about that too. I'm actually going to make a video on the best foods to start giving your baby once you do introduce foods into their diet. Or I don't like saying diet, into their eating lifestyle. Okay, so these are a lot of the reasons why you don't want to feed the baby too soon, because this is actually how allergies develop. When you start introducing food too soon to babies, their bodies don't quite understand or know how to break down these foods, because the system is already designed to only ingest and knows how to properly digest milk. There are certain components in the breast milk that is developing the intestinal tract of every baby. Okay, and so when you slow down on giving them the breast milk, you're actually taking away the development of certain enzymes that take place during certain phases of the baby's growing and development within the GI system. And so when you decrease the amount of milk that they're eating and you start incorporating foods, there are certain enzymes within those foods that the baby's intestinal tract cannot break down, because it hasn't developed the enzymes or the proper prebiotic or bacteria, which is known as the HMO in the breast milk. The longer you nurse your baby, the more developed the intestinal tract becomes, where it'll have the certain HMO that will break down a certain enzyme that breaks down protein. It'll have the certain bacteria that breaks down a certain enzyme for grains, the certain enzyme for, every type of food that you're starting to introduce to the baby. Over time, the intestinal tract is developing and learning how to operate in being prepared to take on that food with those different types of components in it. So when you introduce the food too soon, you mess up that whole process. You mess up the development of that lining, that defense, to be able to for those certain bacteria to be able to carry out their process and their job. Okay. So I say don't do the solid foods, because breast milk is the best food you can ever give your child. Even when they start eating food, breast milk will still be by far the best food that you could ever give your baby. It's a whole food. There's nothing missing. There's nothing lacking from it. And that is my husband calling. I don't know how to do that. I think it's going to end my video if I push. Okay. So, the reason I say this is because when you actually Here comes my sister. I got her making my cornbread, y'all. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Uh, uh. Okay. Add a little bit more almond milk. Okay. Because I want it. I don't. You see how it's kind of thick still? Mm-hmm. Are there some chia seeds? No chia seeds. Okay. All right. So yeah, just add a little bit more almond milk, and you can bring it back, and I'll tell you. Okay. So the reason I made this statement about the breast milk being the best food in the whole food is when you go to the doctors, most doctors will tell you to start introducing food so that they can get all of their nutrients that they need. But that's an oxymoron because everything that they need is in your breast milk. There is no food on this earth that you could actually introduce to your child or give your baby that will have more in it than what the breast milk already has. Okay, so I wanted to put that out there. There is no such thing as eating or incorporating another food to make sure that your baby's diet is more whole. The breast milk is the best milk, the best food for your baby, and it is the wholest. There's nothing else more whole than the breast milk. Okay, your baby will get nutrients no matter what. This is why it's important for the mother to continue to supplement, or if you're taking prenatal vitamins, it's very important for you to continue to take your prenatal vitamins even after you've given birth to the baby. I don't take prenatal vitamins, but what I do is I incorporate a lot of herbs that are full of the vitamins and minerals that I need to sustain my body and to sustain my baby's body. So what I recommend is that you continue to take those supplements. Okay. Yes. Hold on just a second. You need me, sis? Yes. I just wanted to know what store he was supposed to be going to. Oh, Natural Grocers. He should say Natural Grocers. I think I forgot what I was saying. Okay. Oh, continue to take your supplements, okay? Whether it be herbs or whether it be your prenatal vitamins. This is because when you are nursing, your body is going to take whatever it needs for that baby, and the baby is going to get it. But that means you're going to be lacking in something. So make sure that you are still supplementing whatever, if it's your prenatal vitamins or your herbs that you're normally taking, your herbal teas, your herbal powders, your superfoods. Continue to do those things so that way there's no gaps in your diet. I don't like that word. I gotta find another word to use instead of that. Okay, because the baby's going to get whatever it needs from you. Okay, that's also going to help you maintain your milk supply. You continue to do the supplements that you were doing while you were pregnant. It's going to allow you to continue to maintain your milk supply. So I have down here. Oh, this is what I was talking about maybe 2 to 3 minutes ago. The baby's body only produces one carb enzyme. One carb enzyme, and lactase isn't. I'm so sorry. I keep getting these notifications on my phone, y'all. Okay, one carb enzyme, which is lactase, which is for. I could have this stuff mixed up because I just got notes scribbled everywhere, but lactase, which is for digestion of grain. Okay. The baby's body produces little to no amylase enzyme. Okay. So I got that backwards. The lactase is to help digest milk. Okay. When you start introducing the foods, you need the amylase enzyme. That is what is there to help break down grain or to help digest the grain. And baby's body doesn't really produce that enzyme for when you start introducing those foods. You're going to need that enzyme to be able to break down the foods that you're introducing. If you don't have that enzyme in the baby's system, that's what's going to actually cause the intestinal upset. Okay, that's what's going to cause you to have to be up, trying to calm baby down because he's fussy because of the discomfort in his belly or in her belly. So breast milk is going to help you and help baby produce the best gut health. Okay. And I'm going to go over just a few scientific studies showing the importance of building up the gut health of the baby and how it affects them later on in life. Okay. This is why I believe a lot of the children nowadays are a lot less healthier than the children that are overseas in third world countries. There's less dependence upon formulas. All the children mainly are fed off of the mother's breast. They're normally not introduced into solid foods until later on in their development, and it has strengthened their generations that they are having overseas, across, away from this Western society that we are growing up in. Our lifestyle is a lot more weaker than those who live in Eastern cultures, cultures where they are still hanging on to their traditional food lifestyle. Watch out, honey. Okay. Pause one more time. Adaya. Would you need her to shut the door? Yep, that looks better. You forgot the butter? That's my mama. Behind that. Okay, yeah, that looks a lot better. I had to. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Much less healthy in this generation than the previous. Greatest. All right. So next tip is the greatest immunity that the baby can ever have will come from exclusively breastfeeding. Okay. When you start introducing foods too soon, that declines the baby's immunity and being able to fight back against all the illnesses that I just mentioned prior to getting to this part of the video. When you exclusively breastfeed for at least a whole year, it's going to make it easier for when you actually introduce solid foods to your baby. It's going to be easier for them to digest. It's going to be a lot more palatable unto them. It's going to be a lot more joyous for you because you won't really have to be dealing with colic, a lot of intestinal gas, a lot of vomiting, a lot of this ties to the different ear infections and things like that a lot of babies deal with, ties into feeding them too soon. Okay. So what else do I have on here? This is especially important. Okay, so this is who I do suggest it to. If you have a family history of allergies, like when you look far past you, me, then I look at my grandma, then I look at my great grandma, then I look at my great great grandma, and all of them were dealing with allergies, I would recommend you to exclusively breastfeed your child at least until they're 1. This is a good way to counterattack the inheriting of a certain allergen. Okay, inheriting those allergies. This would be very good for you to delay introducing solid foods to them if you have a history in allergies that you can actually see, and you can date back all the way to your great 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 grandparents. Okay. It also gives the digestive system time to mature. At the end of the day, that's what you want. I don't encourage us to be too anxious about feeding them food, because you want to be able to allow their system to mature. That way, when they actually start eating food, they will enjoy it. I remember my son didn't start eating meat until after he was 2 years old. And that was because he just didn't have a desire for it. I would say the same thing with solid foods. He did not really start eating solid foods until he was about maybe 13, 14, 15 months. He much rather like to just nurse, much rather like to drink milk. Okay. And that's typical for all babies. They're really not interested in food at all. We're actually interested in feeding them the food. So try to hold off as long as you can. This will also protect them from iron deficiency. When you start introducing the foods, their iron chances of having iron and anemia goes up. Okay. It will be a lot easier for you to exclusively breastfeed if you continue to feed them on demand. So if baby looks like he's hungry or he's rooting, he's starting to bite his fingers, and he starts giving you all the signals that he's hungry, continue to nurse. Stop what you're doing and go nurse, because that way you're going to continue to up your milk. Your supply of milk will continue to go up in demand, and that will help you continue to have the right amount of milk to give your baby. I have more than enough milk for my son. Even on days where I am dehydrated, I calculated this the other day. On the days that I'm dehydrated, I still am able to produce 48 ounces of milk that one day. And so even on a dehydrated day, they're still going to get the sufficient amount of milk that they need. So if you continue to nurse right on demand when they're actually showing signs that they're hungry, you're going to keep your milk at a level that you need it. Now, on my days when I'm not dehydrated, double it. I'm producing double the 48 ounces of milk. Okay. That is what's going to help you. A lot of moms may be like, oh my gosh, nurse my baby for a whole year without giving them anything else. How is that possible? It's possible if you continue to nurse your baby every time that they're hungry. Also, your breast, the nipple is a soothing agent for your baby too. If your baby becomes fussy or is having a hard time sleeping, it's okay to put them on their breast. That is a way that they are comforted. So sometimes they're not really trying to eat, they just want to suckle. Your breast is much like a pacifier. If you just put them on there just enough time for them to just suckle until they fall asleep, you're good. That's also good for you, because any stimulation to your nipple, any stimulation to your breast, it's going to cause milk to start flowing. You're going to start having a letdown. And so that's what you want. You want a lot more letdowns, because that's going to let your body know that, hey, I need to produce a lot more milk. Okay, so those are the tips that I have written on this sheet. Now I'm going to grab my other sheet. I'm going to talk about helping you if you are interested in doing the exclusive breastfeeding. I want to talk to you about helping you continue to produce good milk. The older your baby gets, you'll start noticing that they don't nurse as often. Like, not as often, but as long. When I first started nursing my children, from day 1 to day 30, they would nurse between 35 minutes and 45 minutes. And that was a pretty long time. That's a chunk of my day gone. Outside of purification, that's a chunk of my day gone. And so the older they get, it goes from 35 minutes to maybe 20 minutes to maybe 15 minutes to maybe 10 minutes. And the reason being is because the older that your child gets, your breast milk has changed and it's more fatty. It's more fatty than it was when you first started out with your baby. It's more fatty and it's more filled with um, immunological benefits. Okay. So they may not nurse as long, but that 10 minutes, they're getting a lot more fat. They're getting a lot more nutrients. They're getting a lot more antioxidants and antibodies. So this is why I also encourage, even if you don't exclusively breastfeed for a year, if you breastfeed for up to 3 years, that is more of a benefit to your child than those first couple of days that they say, well, as long as you nurse baby for those first 3 days, that's good. That's going to help them for the rest of their life. It is good. But what they don't tell you is if you nurse your child as long as 3 years, 4 years old, if you nurse your child all the way into the toddler years, you're actually keeping them from ever experiencing any form of cancer, any form of degenerative illnesses that I mentioned before. Actually being affected by the chemtrails and the gray skies that we have above our head. This is going to give them a better fighting chance. So the older that your baby gets, even though they're not nursing as long, they're still getting a great sufficient amount of food, because it's full of fat and it's full of the minerals, it's full of the vitamins, and it's full of all of the antibodies and antioxidants that they need. So they don't need to nurse that long. Okay. So maintaining your milk supply is very important. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure you're eating good fats. If you go look up in the media, they tell us, okay, this is what you eat, this is what you should eat. Okay, this is what you shouldn't eat. But if you're like me, and you start looking behind everything, you start noticing that what they have out here, what is healthy for us to eat, is actually damaging for our bodies. What we normally look up and see where it talks about, oh, too much salt, too much sodium. Oh, don't do this and don't do that. You actually need salt in your body. And especially if you are melanin, enhanced people, you need salt in your body. When you remove salt from your body, it messes with your brain. That's something that they don't tell you. Okay. So I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on food so that we know these things, because they're not putting out there exactly what it is that we need to know for our bodies to properly thrive. When you remove fat out of your diet, when you take fat completely out of your body, you are actually setting up your body to start breaking down. Your brain needs fat, okay? It needs glucose. To have a successful day in school, children need a eating lifestyle full of fat, okay? So I'm going to talk about this fat, because a lot of people are confused about fats. You are going to need to produce fatty milk for your baby. When you get the right amount of fats in for your baby, this is how you get those little chunky babies, because you have the good fats in your eating lifestyle or in your diet. Okay, so I'm just going to name a couple of things that you want to use for your breast milk, also for your household. Okay, for cooking, you want to cook with butter, not margarine, not shortening, butter. You want butter. Okay. You can use tallow, or I don't know if I'm saying this word right. Suet, Suet, from beef or lamb. Okay. This is a good source of fat. Chicken, duck fat. You want this type of fat in your diet. Okay. Coconut. I know they're putting a lot of things in the media talking about, trying to frighten people from using coconut, but don't listen to putting some in the media tell you don't take. 9 times out of 10, it's good for you to go ahead and take that. So coconut is a good fat that you need to have in your diet. Okay. For your salads, things like that, you want to have extra virgin olive oil. It's also okay for cooking, but I normally recommend you cooking with coconut oil, grapeseed oil, safflower oil, flax oil. That's good for you too. Okay, for fat soluble vitamins, you want to get fish liver fish liver. Yes, you want to get your fish oils in, like the cod liver fish oil. I take that daily. I give that to my children daily. That is a good source of fat, okay? And then my son is at the door, so if you hear him, he's trying to get in here. So I wanted to give you those tips. Good fats. Get your avocados in. If you can't eat avocado, which I can't eat avocado, I actually use avocado oil. I'll cook with the avocado oil. Okay? But I wanted to read a couple of these statements. See on my papers. I'm doing a lot of studying for you guys. See all that? I'm going to read a couple of quotes that were made regarding breast milk. Okay, breastfeeding contributes to your child's nutrition. Okay, although there has been little research done on children who breastfeed beyond the age of 2, the available information indicates that breastfeeding continues to be a valuable source of nutrition and disease protection for as long as breastfeeding continues. Okay, this is a statement made by Perrin in 2016. And like I said, I'll get all this information to you guys in my second video. I might do it on here, or I'm going to put it on our Patreon account, okay? But it says human milk in the second year postpartum contains significantly higher concentrations of total protein, lactoferrin, lysozyme, and globulin A than milk bank samples, and significantly lower concentrations of zinc, calcium, iron, and oligosaccharides, okay? Another statement made by Mandel in 2005. Human milk expressed by mothers who have been lactating for under a year has significantly increased fat and energy contents compared with milk expressed by women who have been lactating for shorter periods. During prolonged lactation, the fat energy contribution of breast milk to the infant diet might be significant. Okay? Here's another. This is very important. I wanted to read this one. In a study of 250 toddlers in Western Kenya, breast milk provided on average 32% of the child's total energy intake. Breast milk made an important contribution to the fat and vitamin A intakes of toddlers in this community. This was a statement made by Anyango in 2002. Okay. This statement is made by Dewey in 2001. Breast milk continues to provide substantial amounts of key nutrients well beyond the first year of life, especially protein, fat, and most vitamins. Okay. A lot of doctors like to tell mothers to stray away from exclusively nursing their babies beyond 6 months, because they say that your baby is going to have a lack of iron and a lack of protein. What I just read to you that was a counterclaim against that. So be encouraged. Doctors don't know everything. And a lot of it is because they haven't done the research for themselves to see how beneficial it is to actually extend your breastfeeding exclusively beyond the 6 months. What's that?
Second batch.
That's the second batch? Oh. Okay, just a little bit more. A little bit more milk.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to encourage you, sisters. Be encouraged. Nurse your child. Nurse your child as long as you desire. And actually, you can share this video with your husband so that he can see and he can understand the benefits of not feeding and introducing foods too soon to your baby. This is one of the reasons why I say breastfed is best, because there are so many components to the mother's breast milk that there's no way on earth or anywhere else, in any whatever you want to call it, that any type of formula can replace what the mother's body naturally produces for the baby. Breast milk is the best form of nutrition you could ever give your child. I encourage you, if you can't nurse your baby, if you've had difficult times before nursing your baby, I encourage you to find somebody who does have breast milk and ask, is it okay if you can use their breast milk? If you could purchase their breast milk, I recommend you purchasing someone's breast milk over buying formula. One of the main reasons is because your breast milk is life. It is living. If you were to put your breast milk under a microscope, you will see life flowing and moving around. If you were to put formula under a microscope, it's dead. It doesn't move. There's no life in it at all. You'll just see a lump of powder with some water on top of it. That is it, a clump. That's all you'll see. Wouldn't you want to feed your baby something living? I'm not suggesting that you just let any old person nurse your baby or buy any old person's breast milk. No. Find someone who is a part of your culture, a part of who eats like you eat, who does the things that you do, and get them that good quality milk. Okay, there's so many benefits to the breast milk. Like I said, if you guys have been following my Facebook page, you see that I use breast milk in almost everything for my household. I'm actually about to make some gummies, some like not like cough drop lozenges, but it's gonna be for when anybody in my home is ill. They're gonna eat one of the little lozenges that has breast milk in it, because of the immunity benefits of it. Okay, it's so much. I just cannot stop talking about breast milk. It's amazing. Breast is best. Okay, find somebody's breast that you can get milk from. Okay, I recommend breast milk over anything else. If you can't get breast milk, then I recommend goat milk because it's the closest thing to mother's breast milk. Okay, like I said, I have so many different things on here that I could read to you guys. But breast milk, breastfeeding beyond 6 months, beyond the year, it helps the intellectual development of your baby. It helps the social development of your baby. It contributes to their health. It's so much. It's so much. It's so much. But like I said, I'm going to do another video on breastfeeding. So this will probably be breastfeeding video number 3 when I do it. And I'm going to go into more detail with the references, different links where you can actually go and get this information and sit down and study it and have something to present to your husband on. Hey, this is why I believe that we should actually exclusively breastfeed for a year. You can also be able to show others who are kind of opposed to you breastfeeding your child more than a year, exclusively with no food. This is information that you can share with them on why this is what you are choosing to do. And they'll see that, a lot of times we do things because it's tradition. It's tradition to feed your baby table food at 6 months old. But there comes a time when we have to actually look behind those traditions and see, is this actually beneficial for my child? And what I have come to find out is it's not beneficial at all for my children. And so I will no longer nurse them up into 6 months and introduce solid foods. I will continue to exclusively breastfeed them till 1 year old, and then I will continue to breastfeed them until they wean themselves. Okay, either wean themselves or I no longer produce any milk, which that never happens. I keep producing milk until they wean themselves. So I pray that this video was encouraging to you guys. I hope that it answered a lot of questions. And if you still have questions, please feel free. You can put them in at the bottom of on the comments. You can email me at mothersherbalinstincts@gmail.com. You can go to my Facebook page. You can put the comment or the question on the video on the Facebook page as well. And I hope this helped you guys. Like I said, I've been trying to get on here to explain this to you guys as soon as I started finding this information. It's actually been about 2 months um, since I've had it. I just hadn't had any time to do it. So, oh, just in case you guys aren't in my Facebook group, I wanted to give you this tip before I end this video. Did you know if you are using soy formula, I ask you to stop. Please stop it. Don't use it anymore. Okay? I'm going to tell you why. Because giving your baby soy formula is the equivalent of giving your baby birth control pills. Okay? This is why a lot of our young men suffer from dealing with a lot of effeminate ways. Okay? This is why a lot of them feel differently because at the infant stage is between, I believe it's 3 to 6 months. Your baby boy produces the same amount of testosterone that an adult male produces. Okay? Those are that's an important time. Soy formula decreases that. Okay, so that could actually be the reason why you have a lot of male children who have this notion that they were born this way. All right, so I just wanted to give you guys that little tip. Hopefully that helps you. And I see you guys later in my next video. Bless y'all. Shalom. Peace and blessings. All right.